Joining me on Newsnight is the Ajuri County Member of Parliament, Hamson Obua. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight.
Good evening and good evening viewers from within and without Uganda.
Yeah, 1.3 million is a very big number. And we don't want to discuss what is there today without discussing where it actually started from. You can point fingers at the government. Some have even said if you go down to these areas, you know, there was cutting down of trees and different environmental hazards that eventually, one by one, led to where we are today.
True.
So let's paint the picture of where we started.
I strongly believe that the challenges that East Africa, Uganda, and majorly some parts within Uganda are facing would be dissected into two areas. One is man-made, as you mentioned. High rate of cutting down trees, and yet we are planting less. Then that one I would term it man-made. And there is the natural aspect of it. Majorly challenges emanating from the effects of climate change. That is what we are facing.
The rain pattern.
As a country, that is what the region of East Africa is facing. That is what my sub-region, my district, and my village is facing.
So what's actually on the ground? You visited your sub-region, obviously, to see. Because sometimes the news is skewed, as they say. We'll see bits and pieces of it. But we have reports of children not going to school because there's nothing to feed them. The parents have nowhere to, cultivate and actually, sell to make some money. So what's actually on the ground?
That is true. The situation on the ground, especially Lango sub-region, which was ranked by a joint report from the Ministry of Agriculture and that of Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, as the third worst hit sub-region in Uganda after Karamoja and Teso. The situation has been compounded by the fact that being good people, we accommodated our brothers and sisters, especially from Karamoja. And there were also associated bad things that we did, uprooting people's cassava. That has compounded the situation at the moment. To the extent that you have heard of a pregnant mother daring to climb a mango tree in order to feed the children. Who ended up succumbing to that particular challenge, and she passed on with the unborn baby. So the situation generally from school children to the aged. So what we are doing at the moment is like a wake-up call, because this is not the first time we have indicated to the line ministry. This is not the first time we put this particular challenge on the floor of Parliament. All what we are crying for as leaders from Lango sub-region is equity and fairness in the distribution of the available scarce food relief in the stores of the ministry in charge of relief.
You're saying equity, but then there was mention that they have never given food relief to this region.
Definitely, that is part of the fairness. That is part of the equity.
Fairness, I would assume you're getting some but less. Are we saying nothing at all has been given?
There are 8 districts in Lango sub-region. Despite the fact that some of them, like my district, I was informed by the district authorities that the district disaster committee made a submission to the ministry in charge of disaster and relief. But to date, no supply has been made. But this is the same ministry that ranked this district, which is part of this sub-region, as number 3.
So they are aware of the need.
They are aware of the need.
Let's talk about food distribution. Is that even sustainable? Do you want us to carry trucks of food and take it to your region and give them, that's 1 day, 2 days, 2 months? Is that sustainable? Is that the answer? Have you looked through? It could be an answer right now, but is it sustainable?
To me, we can divide it into 3 categories: short-term, medium-term, and long-term responses.
So what you're asking from government is all 3?
No, for now, this is short-term to respond to what is on the ground at the moment. But in the medium term, even like the seeds that were given to members of parliament to distribute, some of them have not germinated because even the rain is not quite sustainable and predictable. So we are looking at short term, but in the medium term, can we look for available seeds that are fast yielding in the event that the rain is a bit predictable? Because we are talking about a sub-region that has been a food basket. That has been a food basket with hard-working people. But our people have been reduced to more or less beggars while responding to these challenges emanating from climate change. And the state has a responsibility constitutionally to respond to the challenges. So we are looking at what is there in the short run. Must we look at our people dying?
No.
If there is food available, why don't we distribute it fairly and equitably?
So that's the
from
short
the
term. Food distribution to the, you said medium term, then look at the seeds and the patterns and how you can
exactly.
do
We
better.
can even now move an extra mile to look at issues like irrigation. We have seen the president demonstrating what is applicable to the rural person who rides a bicycle. You may not go for this very sophisticated irrigation scheme. So that can be like a long-term response to the challenges we are experiencing as a country.
And you're also a leader. You should be able to go down and actually impart some knowledge and teach, maybe in the medium term and the long term.
Exactly, but the starting point is that you will even impart that knowledge to an angry. You need to impart the knowledge to somebody who has taken something.
Something to eat, definitely.
Exactly.
It's alarming. 1.3 million is an alarming number. So hopefully something is done.
True.
Thank you so much for joining me on Newsnight. That is Mr. Honorable Hamson Obua, the county member for Ajuri County. That's it for Newsnight.